Dmvinke, real name Dmvinke, was a Brawlhalla player who was rising to the top of the professional EU scene, earning about $200 through small community tournaments at the age of just 14. Some called him a prodigy with a bright future in esports until a year later, another pro player by the name of Dyaku released an 8-page document exposing the toxic behavior of the EU Brawlhalla scene. And as you can imagine, Dmvinke was at the very top of the list. Reported for quote homophobic/transphobic statements including death threats and encouraging others to kill themselves. Now, as you can imagine, with such bold claims, there has to be some pretty damning evidence, and that there was. The document contained 11 screenshots of Dennis supporting and voicing hate towards many different people. I will kill him. I honestly will if I see that thing at LAN. Someone has to stop me before I punch that N-word in the throat. I'll kill anyone stopping me too. This was all targeted towards a transgender female in the Brawlhalla community that, mind you, did nothing to provoke this kind of behavior, showing his extreme transphobia. The rest of the images in the document are various examples of more slurs, transphobia, and death threats, which all led to the permanent ban from Brawlhalla, cutting his rising career in esports extremely short. Mind you, Dennis was only 15 at the time of making these statements, and although still being extremely unacceptable, he was an impressionable kid who may have fell into the wrong crowd, but regardless, it doesn't excuse his actions, and we can only hope he has changed for the better. Lopes was one of South America's best players of all time, sitting at PR number 1 during 2021, and was one of the few international players that looked like they had a legitimate winning chance against the best players from around the world. And unlike Dennis, Lopes's ban was one of the most undeserving in the whole entire scene. Towards the end of 2021, Lopes was notified that one of his close friends was going through extreme financial troubles. So without second thought, and Lopes being an extremely good friend, he wanted to help, and instantly thought he could use his Brawlhalla skills to help his friend make some money, but he made one crucial mistake. To do this, he actually played on his friend's account, and if you know anything about the terms of service in virtually any game, this is strictly prohibited, especially in a highly competitive tournament, which left one of the best players Brawlhalla had ever seen banned permanently. Obviously, Lopes broke the rules, and a punishment is definitely warranted, but a permanent ban for just trying to do something positive seems a little harsh. So for the time being, free that boy Lopes. He's definitely learned his lesson by now. Ket, on the other hand, was a player from the lesser-known region of Australia, but was still making his name known through his tournament placements from 2020 all the way till late 2022, even coming in 7th at Australia's World Championship back in 2020, which carried throughout the next 2 years, with some more top placements earning around $2,100. That was until Australian top player Asmodie decided to release her own document highlighting the toxic players in Australia's Brawlhalla scene. And similarly to Dennis, Ket was one of those people on that list, specifically highlighting a clip from his Twitch stream.
Whatever fucking region you're from, if you play double sword and play like these two, bruh, you deserve the cancer that I had transferred onto you, and you'd like literally deserve to die from it. Fucking homos. Worse than Indians, bro.
Obviously, the elephant in the room here is him directly wishing cancer and death onto people that play a certain way, which I don't even understand. It's so childish. But after that statement, he not only uses homos as an insult, but also says worse than Indians, implying his hate towards both Indian people and gay people, all while on stream for everyone to see, including BMG, because after this was brought to their attention, Ket was permanently banned. After this situation, Ket disappeared from the internet, even deactivating his Twitter account in the process, and as of now, I can only wish that he got help, as that kind of behavior is never normal. Vey followed a very similar route as Ket, another up-and-coming Australian Brawlhalla player who started seeing success in major tournaments around 2022 and 2023, even going as far as winning back-to-back majors being the Summer and Autumn Championship, and had top placements into 2023, until of course Asmodie's document hit the internet and people saw the dark side of Vey. There is a lot to go over, so I think it's personally best to just list off multiple instances where Vey was exposed. The first screenshot provided was an image image of Vey being transphobic, calling 2 trans people subhumans on Discord. Next is a screenshot of Vey being xenophobic, saying Jews are low on the ethnicity tier list, and again going to people's DMs to ask if they're Jewish, and acting relieved when they aren't. Just extremely weird behavior. But this wasn't even the tip of the iceberg for Vey, as later in the document it was revealed that he stalked and doxed a player's private Facebook account, and used one of their IRL pictures as an icon for his Brawlhalla event, which mind you was also titled after a slur. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there, as Vey also created fake audio files to slander pro player Goddess.
Hello, my name is Goddess. I am a washed-up top Australian player that had a couple top 5s when everyone had for brains. As you all may know, I was gifted the $2,000 opportunity by my favorite simp Kyler Alice to represent my fellow Australians at the Brawlhalla World Championship, which I ended up flying out for 20 hours just to lick lollipops and cry in a corner while my freaky-looking teammate Shadow can't find me in between the gap of his eyes.
And, of course, another one created to slander the top Australian pro, Asmodie.
My name is Asmodie, and I hate Asians. When I was in America, I saw my teammate, Elsom, and was instantly disgusted. My overall experience at BCX was horrible. I was playing on 5 frames per second with one hand, the other was behind, used to keep the filthy chicks at bay. Of course, the Asian threw 2v2, getting team comboed by a lance nutter who was 5'0", and I again was left to 1v2. Elsom am teaming with Doggo for Springs, #stop Asian hate pig.
To be doing all of this over any situation is borderline insane, but all because of a 2D Flash game is beyond my comprehension, and just goes to show the hate these people are filled with. But luckily, Vey got exactly what was coming to him, a permanent ban from Brawlhalla and losing out on a potential dream of a career. Now, probably one of the biggest plot twists in the whole entire video is Asmodie being on this list. How could the player that outed all these other pros for their toxicity also end up having the same fate? Amy Asmodie Azalea was another Australian pro who started her competitive journey around 2020 and saw her first big placements just a year later in 2021, where she was quickly making a name for herself in the scene and even being feared by top Australian players, and rightfully so. Because in the next coming year, Amy would end up winning 2 of the 1v1 majors while placing consistently in podium spots throughout 2022, and even ended off the year with a top 32 finish at the World Championship. The future was looking bright going into 2023, and of course she started off strong by releasing her document exposing the absolute creatures she had to interact with for so long. But this backfired horribly, because with her being in the spotlight and playing the hero made a lot of people upset, as Amy didn't exactly have a clean record herself, and prompted players in the community to expose her wrongdoings alongside everyone else's. Amy had been seen in Discords and Brawlhalla chat logs making some crazy statements herself. Her favorite was telling people to jump off a bridge, but went all the way to the extent of using the N-word with the hard R multiple times. But arguably the worst of all is when she told another player she'd bring her AR-15 to a LAN event. So it turns out Asmodie was just as guilty as her colleagues, but unlike the others, Amy wouldn't be banned until months after everyone else, even though the evidence all came out around the same time, making people call out BMG for their obvious bias towards her. But with the massive outcry from the community, Asmodie was eventually banned, killing her career in the process and starting the downfall of Australian Brawlhalla altogether.